Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Voice newspaper and Global Sport in Colour sports magazine show. Here with Michael Facey.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
here.
long. You're back this week.
I've made it.
You're back. You're back. You come back safe. There was a cyclone you're going to tell us about.
Yeah.
Rodney Hines, sports editor of the Voice newspaper, and our special guest, our first guest.
History maker, pioneer.
Pioneer, definitely. Trailblazer. Troy Townsend.
It's lucky I
kick
my
it
face
out.
this morning.
Yeah,
It's all good. Yeah.
Brilliant. You have to shine out here. This is a football show, and we're in the home of football, so we're just going to keep it football this week. I want to start off by talking about the FA Cup semi-finals, both of which are going to be here this weekend by the time our viewers get to watch this. Rods, I want to start with you because you do our Premier League predictions. First game, Tottenham versus Chelsea. Could it be any bigger?
No, not really. And even though it's the FA Cup, I truly believe that whoever wins that will win the league title. Because I think it's about momentum. Yeah, I really do.
Big calls.
I think it's one of those preordained scenarios. You couldn't have made it up at the start of the FA Cup season that Chelsea play Tottenham in a semi-final, and it's Chelsea-Tottenham that are going to win the league. And momentum is such a strong word in sport. I think whoever wins it will go and just know that they can go on and do it. And that's even taking into account that Tottenham, and we've got to remember, this is still 4 points behind.
Yeah. But you're not hedging your bets, though.
I'm not going to hedge my bets. No.
Whoever
really
wins.
Listen, we're all going to put our head on the block at the end of it. But
Yeah.
so what do you think about the fixture, Mike? Because you ain't been there for a couple of weeks. You don't know what's going on.
What's going on? But Chelsea did put my team out.
True.
They kicked my team out, so it's.
Was that game?
Yeah, it was that game. Yeah, you was there. I agree with Rodney. I think Tottenham, because of their failings last year, and Chelsea were the team that broke them down and made them fell in such a way and capitulate.
Battle of the Bridge.
Battle of the Bridge, yeah. I feel that if Tottenham go on to win it, I can see them motoring on and winning the whole league, definitely.
That mean we'll do the double, won't it?
Yeah.
Won it, Troy?
Well, 1960.
Early 60s.
Don't I feel be the double though?
No?
Because it's still a finals.
We'll get to the other
Yeah,
game in a
it's
second.
still
Troy,
a
out of those two, what do you reckon? Chelsea, Tottenham, big game.
I just agree with the guys. Difficult one to call. It's here at Wembley. Spurs' record here is not great.
Especially the last time we played them in
Yeah.
clutch fixture.
Yeah. We won't discuss that. Momentum is a powerful and wonderful thing, but I think it all goes out the window out here on Saturday. I think nerves come into play. Spurs young players haven't played a semi-final here before. Yet they play Champions League games. We've seen their nerves there. Chelsea should be more experienced, but it's whoever takes to the day and performs to the best of their ability, and it will take them to perform to the best of their ability. To be honest, I don't think it's going to be a. You know what I mean? Yeah. They've not played well, but they've nicked it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's all that matters in cup football. If you've got the trophy in your hand come May, and you've had two dodgy performances in a semi-final and a final, you take it.
You take that.
You know what I mean? You don't think, we got out of jail.
I would have won the most FA Cups if
there
it
you
was
go.
run by that.
There you go. And I remember Arsenal won against Hull.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Arsenal had a tricky semi-final against Reading. We were here for that and went to penalties on that one. Reading gave Arsenal their hardest game, and then they went to the final against Hull. And you know the scenario there, 2-0 down after 20 minutes. Kieran Gibbs clears a shot off the line that would have made it 3-0, and they came back lastminute.com. Cup football, as long as you have the trophy in your hand, that's all that matters.
Do you think that the loss to Man United the other day will play into Tottenham's hands in any way, or will that motivate Chelsea even more to turn up?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think that as professionals, and they have been very professional this season, I don't think the loss matters. I think the loss is more of a wake-up call, like we are good, but there's levels out there. And that's all I think it is.
I don't think they were going to beat Man United the other day, so that's that.
Sod's law as well.
We're going to talk about more about Man United as we move along, because they've got a big game after this weekend's football. But let's talk about the other semi-final before we go to that. Arsenal versus Man City.
Anybody's game, if you ask me. Yeah, anybody's game. Both.
I favour City actually on this one.
City look better in terms of coming into the fixture, into their previous run-ins of games. The thing with Arsenal is they've lost so many over the past couple that anything can happen. That they could actually just turn up and just keep motoring. And they won just the weekend just gone. So
Rod, they played 3-4-3 the other day. We had that famous Nigerian on Arsenal Fan TV calling for Arsene Wenger to do something different. Play 4-3-3 at the back. He did. They won. They looked okay. Does that fixture really matter in the grand scheme of things?
No, I think as Troy said earlier, with an FA Cup semi-final, everything goes out the window. What I would say City have to start bookies' favourites,
Yeah,
certainly,
yeah,
as I think
yeah.
Chelsea will
Yeah,
the day before.
Yeah.
However,
It's not much, is it?
Not much between them. But what I would say, if there is one team out of the 4 that know how to play here and win, it's Arsenal.
Yeah.
As I just said. And I think playing at Wembley, we're all involved in the game. Playing at Wembley is something special.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, the vibe, the turf, whatever, the nerves, as you said. And if there is a set of players that knows how to handle that, forget the league form, right? It's Arsenal Football Club.
Arsenal, yeah.
So familiarity with the changing rooms, and we talk about that all the time. So don't rule Arsenal out. I would expect. I've said to you a few months ago, I expect come May the 27th, Tottenham will play Arsenal in a North London Cup final.
You called it a few weeks ago.
It's a big call. It's a big call.
And what a game that would be.
Trey's right. A Rizla paper separates the two sides in terms of who could win on the day. What trumps it for the winning team for you?
Well, I tell you what doesn't is Arsenal playing 3-4-3.
Right.
I think Man City will expose them. Sane, Sterling, De Bruyne in areas that I'm not sure that Monreal and whoever they're going to put right hand side will be comfortable with. You know, you saw Toure come on the other night, Middlesbrough, and he is a threat regardless of his end product. And all of a sudden, Monreal was going backwards, and there was panic and whatever else. City are cuter than that. They play around people. So I would expect him to go back to what he knows best.
I was going to say to you, don't expect the 3 at the back scenario to be
expect him to go what he
on
knows
Arsene
best.
Wenger's chart every week.
No.
That was probably a desperate throw of the dice.
It was. People say it worked because they won. I'm not quite sure it worked. I wasn't convinced throughout the whole game, watching them. And listen, they've got world-class players going forward. They should be scoring goals.
They only won 2-1, didn't they?
And so you got Ozil, you got Sanchez, so they've got world-class players going forward. But his biggest problem now is what he does defensively. Having check back is massive because you need all the experience you can get out there. But I'm edging Man City for this one.
Final, Man City versus...
Aye. I'm going with it. Tottenham.
Arsenal-Tottenham.
Arsenal-Tottenham.
Arsenal-Tottenham. But Arsenal...
And I just got to say to you...
Man City-Tottenham.
I just got to say to you...
But just though. I'd love to be Arsenal-Tottenham.
It don't matter.
Go on, Reg.
Arsenal-Tottenham. Just
I'd
imagine
love
what that's
it.
going to mean.
I would
my
love it.
heart would love that. But I just think Man City, I think they've come into just at the right time, the right vein of form. Hopefully Vincent Kompany plays because he's massive for them. And I think it showed the other day when he played for the first time and he scored, and that was massive amount of relief. And I think he'll bring so much to this team.
A player that you mentioned is the boy Leroy Sané.
Yeah.
I've seen him close up a few times. Looks like an absolutely special player.
And
he could do anything he likes.
Gabriel said
Jesus. Yeah.
He's not even playing.
Yeah.
When them two start linking up,
I think Bellerin's going to come back, and he's not been great. But and I've seen him at first hand not being great. And from a player who I thought, untouchable at right back, he's not been great. And I think that would be an area where they might look to expose. Whereas people wouldn't have looked to expose Bellerin before. They would always gone down the other side. Right. But I think if they have Sané.
And that point you mentioned, just to stay with Arsenal a little bit, right? As you said, Mike, you don't know what they're going to produce. If Arsenal were to win on Sunday, you're not going to fall over with total surprise.
No.
But the point you made was fantastic. Bellerin, there's a player. Oh, fantastic. Hasn't quite delivered. Arsenal have got too many of that type of player in their squad in their first 11. That's why the club hasn't moved on.
All right, we've all nailed our colours to the mast where the FA Cup semi-finals are concerned. Let's look forward at some Premier League football. Yeah, there's a lot of Premier League games this week.
Massive.
A lot of them. Yeah. And the ones that matter, Rodney, you've picked out.
Yeah, there's a diet of football up until the end of May. What I'm going to choose at the other end of the table, as in the bottom end, is Bournemouth versus Middlesbrough. Now, we saw Arsenal, with their new system, beat Borough, but only just.
Plucky Borough.
But should Middlesbrough go to Bournemouth over the weekend and win, it puts Bournemouth in the mire.
Yeah, it puts them, without doubt.
And that was the, that's what Eddie Howe was trying to say after the loss to Tottenham. It was a case of everybody keeps saying that we're safe, and we're not. They got 35 points.
But there's always one team,
that
and I think you said earlier, we think Sunderland have gone, and we think Middlesbrough have gone. And then there's another, isn't there?
Yeah,
and you got about half
Swansea. Bournemouth are not out of it.
Bournemouth not out of it.
And the worst thing about the Tottenham defeat was how they played. They didn't show up.
Absolutely.
They looked defeated before they even arrived.
Well, they didn't have a shot until the 73rd minute. You know
People were saying it was like a training game.
It was.
You know, if you're down there, you have to compete. You have to, you know what I
As a
mean?
starting
At
point.
least,
As a
yeah, you have to
starting
at
point,
least compete.
Yeah, of course.
That is a massive game. I fully expect Bournemouth to win. I don't think Middlesbrough travel very well, and I think that will be the now, as they say, for Middlesbrough. And I think it could be the win that kind of says to Bournemouth, you know what I mean, a little bit of breathing space.
I think you're going to get some strange results, and I think we had the strangest of the lot start a few weeks back when Palace went to Chelsea. Strange. That was strange.
Wow.
You
I backed them all the way.
I called that.
Yeah.
Couldn't base it on form, just
No.
what was inside. So listen, there's going to be a few more of those as the season goes. Palace on the Sunday. Palace have got a couple of interesting games. They're away to Liverpool on Sunday.
Third in the league, Liverpool.
Benteke's gone back.
Benteke.
He's gone back,
I
ain't
hope he gets that trick.
And you know what?
Benteke.
I'm going to say here, I think they'll take a point.
Right.
I really do. Because Big Sam, I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago, hadn't got his methods over, and people were saying, God, he was employed to
do a Big Sam.
To do a Big Sam. I think they're good enough, and I think the win, and I think more importantly, we talked about it on the weekend, didn't we? To go 2 goals down to Leicester, and come back fighting, that tells me all I need to know. So Liverpool, Palace, and of course, we have Andros' dad with us, don't we?
I have a worry about the Liverpool game. A massive worry is Sakho's not playing.
Oh, is he?
Parent club,
so he's out
Parent
because
club,
he's on loan.
and he's been pivotal to them, isn't
He has been, you know what he's brought to the team? He's brought
true grit,
experience. He's brought that. You look at him and you think to yourself, I don't really want to mess with this guy. You know. But also as well is where Palace centre backs, for me, I've been watching them all season, have been getting it and just smashing it and thinking that's Christian's job now. He's been bringing it down and passing.
Bit of class.
So his pass percentage for a centre half, because I've always looked at him before and gone,
didn't fancy it much.
He looks a bit. When you look at someone in the flesh and you see them week in and week out, he's been absolutely first class. How they replace him, I don't know. Scott Dan's injured. Tompkins may be coming back. Delaney, no disrespect to Delaney, he's 37 now. So you really have to. I worry.
But it is the Liverpool side without the beast that is Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Liverpool have been prone, if you check the stats, to defeats or dropping points to teams at the lower end of the table. So I think a Palace, buoyed by some great results, a win at Stamford Bridge, thrashing Arsenal, coming back against Leicester. Why can't you go up there?
What they won't do is go there with fear.
There you go. Whereas a couple of weeks ago,
they would have gone there and
and even Wilfred's looking good. Zaha's looking good as well.
Wilfred's done very well.
I saw an article with Jason Punchin a couple of weeks ago where he said just before this run of wins for Palace, he said we're getting it now. He said when Big Sam come, we weren't getting it. We didn't understand it. I think there might have been a reluctance.
Let me tell you a little bit what I thought about that was that I think Pardew stayed too long. I think the friendship of the club kept him there. He had methods, he had stars.
Sorry, he said friendship.
He wanted to bring this expansive football. So he wanted to change them from a team that was sitting back on the break, you know, when Yannick was there last year, when Wilf was there, and he wanted to play this expansive football. It was great going forward, they were scoring goals, but it wasn't great going backwards. And I think Sam tried to tell the guys, you know what, expansive football doesn't work, and they were kind of resistant a little bit because they were saying, well, we're scoring goals. And then Sunderland came along. And then Sunderland came along and not only beat them, they embarrassed them. And it was hostile.
3-0 by half time or something, I think.
It was 4-0, it was done.
4-0, yeah.
4-0. You know, with people wanting to grab players, etc. No, not supposed to happen. And I think then they said, you know what, if we don't start buying into what this man, his knowledge at this level, at this stage of the season, we're goners.
I think you made a key point. It's all very well playing expansive football, good football, but if you don't win matches, it's not.
It don't matter.
It's not good football.
And ultimately, when you're down there, no one remembers how you play.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to that cup mentality that I said. Just get the job done.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
So over the two games,
who's the other game Palace have got?
Tottenham Palace on Wednesday are home to Tottenham Hotspur.
That's their FA Cup right there, isn't it?
There you go. There's no love lost, and I think London clubs trying to be successful in the league is always a challenge because you've got these derbies. You've got at least 10, haven't you?
How many points is that?
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot.
A third of the points that we have now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So on Wednesday night, Palace versus Spurs, you'll be there? No doubt.
I'll be there, yeah.
Is that a bittersweet match up for you? Or are you definitely a Palace man now?
Oh, no, I'm definitely a Palace man.
Or to raise your game.
Raise your game.
Palace through and
Palace
through. I
through,
mean, you know, the young man's there. He's performing well now.
Playing well.
It's
playing week in, week out.
playing week in and week out. Playing
Saka
well.
will be back as well.
Saka will be back.
Can I ask a question on this point?
Yeah.
How disappointed is Andros to have left Tottenham? Let's put it on the line. How disappointed was he?
Hey, he had no choice.
I think.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, massive. I think if you saw the tweet that he put out, which just had emotional hashtag 16 years, it's a club that he'd been at, he'd grown up at.
Yeah.
We're all supporters
Done a Harry
of it.
Kane, went everywhere we could.
Went everywhere. Well, I would like to say done an Andros Townsend because he'd done it before Harry Kane.
Love it.
You know,
We're
9
having
loans.
him back. Trust me.
9 loans.
Yeah.
You know, where people are questioning our young players now and they say, well, what do? They don't want it enough. They don't earn it. You know, his first loan was a Yeovil. I didn't even know where that was on the map. But he went there as a 17-year-old with them bottom of the table, 10 games to save them, with a young lad called John Obika, and they did it. And what I hear from the club is that they actually changed the culture because senior players were starting to do things that young players were doing.
Legacy.
So yeah, he's done it the hard way, but you know, the only recognition you really get is when you go and play in the Premier League. So that last loan at QPR was brilliant for him.
Absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
I mean, I saw you there a couple of times,
that's
and you know
right,
what? I was sitting in the press box, and I could hear fans just lauding Andros every week because he was a star player.
Yeah,
he was an 8,
to be
9
honest.
out of 10 man in the ratings the next day.
But, you
because he
know,
lifted that side for me.
Whatever, it's with everything. Every club has a different style, and Tottenham changed their style. You know, so players like Aaron Lennon, Andros, were no longer the kind of fit because they're out and out wingers. And you know, these things happen. You know, Andros is a young man. He wants to play football like any young man should really want to, and he wants to play it with his team at the highest level possible. You know, so he made the move to Newcastle, which was a wrench because you go from one end of the country to the other.
But he was successful there as well.
But again,
Did what he needed to do.
successful, but obviously they went
club
down.
Yeah.
You know,
He done well, though.
he
He
made
did
this
well.
move to Palace because he knew he had to play and continue to play in the Premier League, and he knew he had to continue to try and do things. Many first half of the season, many will say, well, you know, more for you. Do you know what I mean? But he started the season well. He got back into the England squad. And then obviously things just changed at Palace, and it was, you know, a noose around his neck. But, you know, when I see him getting a standing ovation, like, you know, he rightly said he got booed off against Swansea here at Palace. And then standing ovation, unbelievable ovation against Arsenal because he put everything on the line on that day. So, you know, I'll always remain proud of him, whether he's playing in the Premier League or League One or whatever else. It's just one of those things. So, but I'm glad he's found his mojo back.
And a fine example to those young players, male or female, black or white, who have a challenge initially, but have to bob and weave and go round up, whichever way you got to do it. Just keep the dream alive.
The game's all about challenges.
Keep the dream alive.
Okay. City versus United.
Thursday night.
Probably the biggest game of the week. Coming hot on the heels of whatever happens
I'm going
for
to
City.
dispute that biggest game of the week stuff, you know.
For me, because I'm looking at the two teams.
It's the biggest of the week.
Biggest of the week.
Yeah, of the week.
It's big in terms of the match itself, but there's nothing right
Two
in it.
new
Manchester
clubs,
clubs,
two new
yeah.
managers who didn't do it, in my opinion.
You have to prove your point.
It's the biggest, you know,
Biggest game
of the week. Of the week.
Of the week.
Of that day.
Outside of Palace, Tottenham, of course.
Yeah, of course. Massive.
How does that one go?
United win?
Go on, mate.
No, United ain't losing.
As simple as that.
My thing about now, as a United fan especially, United ain't losing.
Right.
They're not
You
losing.
think Jose's got them in that zone?
Yeah, they're in the zone where they're not losing,
Right.
and even when things are going wrong, there's a bit of luck that happens with United, and they just don't.
It's called a
lose.
winning mentality, that.
Listen,
There
it's
you
called
go.
Rashford. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
19 years old.
Yeah.
You see, he's getting the props and the plaudits that he deserves for the role he played against Chelsea in the
cup game,
win. In the cup game. No, not
And
no,
during the week, on Sunday, it was special.
He did that in the cup game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And didn't get the plaudits.
Yeah, because they lost.
Because they lost.
And that's the difference.
That's the difference.
And he notched this time.
Football
And he
was
notched.
football's a brutal business, and if he takes that chance in the cup game,
Yes.
we would have
Yes.
spoken about it.
Yeah.
He takes the chance in the league game. He's the player that we always believe.
That's the levels we're talking
Marcus
How special
Rashford.
can he be?
I think he can be what he wants to be. I
I
think.
was going to say exactly the same
Yeah,
thing.
there's always a period in a young player's life when there's a dip, and it's how he manages and handles that, and the people around him manage and handle that. You know, do they keep him grounded? Do they keep him, you know, don't worry, your chance will come. He's had a difficult period this season. He's been behind Ibrahimovic, and I don't.
Has he been behind him, or is he learning from the senior player?
For me,
Do you see how it's put,
I
though?
think Ibrahimovic has been massive for Man United, and
Away
Massive
from
for
the
any
goals.
Premier League
Away from
club.
the goals.
yeah. I
Giving
think
him
he's
that
been
return.
massive. I
He's
think
massive.
you know, if any club now they've seen what he's done, would probably gone, we could have done with him.
Yeah.
We could have done with him.
And the goals, I think, have just been a bonus because he's got them out of
Absolute
trouble.
added bonus.
Make sure that they've won here in the League Cup final against
But you say
Southampton.
that, Rods, I think if he hadn't have got the goals, people outside of the know would have probably questioned this 35-year-old being
I
here.
think
I
it's been
questioned
massive purely and simply for the training ground for the youngsters that are in United's team. The mentality. Because I see Rashford playing against Chelsea this weekend, and I see him doing stuff that Ibra's
He'd never done before.
and he's never done that before. He's doing little flicks.
Confidence.
He's a confident player.
He's a confident player, isn't he? But I think we've said on this show that if you look at Marcus Rashford coming through the United system, the types of player and individual has been around. He said it before. We did something in The Voice. Carlos Tevez was there. Robin van Persie was there. Zlatan is now there. Wayne Rooney's there. That's not a bad.
was there as well.
There's not a bad set of players that, as a youngster, that you can learn from.
But with Marcus was a mistake. It was a mistake that has bloomed because he wasn't due to be anywhere near their first team. Andrews was playing a 21 game when he was banished for Tottenham v Man U, and Marcus was on the bench. And I think it was only on the bench because the 21s had a few injuries.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
By the February, Marcus is scoring at Old Trafford against Arsenal because of injuries in the first team.
Is that not opportunity knocks?
But I'm saying a mistake, but I'm also saying that he's gone. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Let's take an opportunity.
Because he weren't, like you said, he weren't
And you know
supposed to
what?
break
Louis
just
van
then.
Gaal took an
It
awful.
could have been a 2 years from now.
Louis van Gaal took an awful lot of stick at Man United.
Yeah.
He gave him a trophy here, FA Cup,
Very true.
and also blooded players of that nature.
Yeah, he did.
So, you know,
But am I right in saying that there's this thing about Jose Mourinho and not playing young players, but he has the highest percentage this season of teenagers in terms of minutes played on the pitch.
I think
I haven't seen that stat.
I think
but
that thing about
that's
Jose,
good,
while you can get figures to say almost anything, I think based on what you said, Marcus Rashford has the best possible coach with him right now, who will keep him grounded, and even when he's doing well, might drop him or put a little flea in his ear, just to say, don't get too above your station.
You know what? And I think the fabric of the club, Manchester United, has also had a lot to do with your statement in regards to what Jose Mourinho is doing. I don't think he's been as free as he has been with other clubs.
Yeah.
I think he's been he's been watched, and he gets it. And he's allowing them to play in that Man United way as well.
You know, I see criticism of Mourinho. Even now, 21 games unbeaten, something like that.
21 games unbeaten.
21 games, all right, draws, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Unbeaten though. No defeat.
You know, and
won a
people
trophy
saying
already.
They should be top of the table. They should be.
And another trophy possibly coming in terms of the Europa League.
Do they not remember that Man United, since Alex Ferguson won that title, have not been the same Man United of any shape or form?
I've got a theory in terms of why Jose will get that sort of stick, and I think it's sometimes his comments in the press, his attitude.
Yeah.
I just think that some people personally just don't like Jose Mourinho.
I also-
But in terms of a football manager,
Can't talk to him.
second.
I
to
also
none.
think, you know what? It's almost like what's it called? The demise of your own success. Like the amount of success he's actually achieved. That's what's causing that as well. Because it's just like you expect him to walk into the
So
club.
he's plateaued.
It's
sort of thing.
plateaued. Yeah, you expect him to walk
We
into the club.
expected Guardiola.
Yeah.
We expected Klopp to have that. So all of a sudden we've got all these super managers in our Prem. Conte's doing it this time, but Conte's doing it without Champions League football. And the kind of impact, because you saw on Sunday, all right, Alonso had to come out, Courtois had to come out, and all of a sudden the jigsaw wasn't the same mechanism.
Because the
that it
Chelsea
was
1 to
previously.
11
wasn't a finely
is
well
very, very
machine.
strong.
Yeah.
But if you go beyond that,
Jig and jig.
it's a little bit.
Yeah, but it's
challenging.
strong
Whereas
enough.
if you
It's
look at
strong enough.
Spurs, there's a bit more depth
Yeah,
there.
but my thing is that you got to remember Chelsea didn't have Champions League, like you
That's
said.
what I'm saying,
rightfully
yeah.
So he's got a squad for the Premiership.
I mean, something that we
And
said
that's-
as well, JC, that Liverpool and Chelsea, they're starting to wobble. They had no Champions League football, but as soon as there was 2 matches a week, in terms of
Yeah.
other
That's
what I mean,
competitions,
yeah.
they couldn't win games.
Right, there you go.
You know, so anyway,
That's it, and that's down to the
going back to Man.
Who's going to win?
I think a lot
Manchester Derby.
will go down to what happens for City in the Cup
FA Cup,
semi-final.
right.
I'm going to go for Man United to get a draw.
Okay. Man United to get a draw.
I'm sticking with a draw as well, to be honest. Yeah.
I've already put it out there.
Yeah.
Man United to
They're
win.
winning.
I want Man United to win.
It's at the Etihad, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going for them to take a draw.
I want Man
Yeah,
United
I'll go
to
for
win.
the draw as well.
And I hope they do. Probably be a draw though.
It probably will be a draw. though.
Or it could be a win.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
That's what they
so
do.
you got-
It's not a loss. So no one's losing.
No one's losing?
United's not losing. United's not losing.
You think we know what we're talking about here, don't we? Let's move on. to the reason why you're here, sir?
I thought that was the reason. Thought I'd given good insight, good background, and now you're saying the reason.
Don't worry, Troy. We'll have you back another time.
Yeah.
All right.
I think seeing the diversity and the quality of the mentors is so significant, to see that this is the type of people who can work in football. The amount of young people that I've spoken to today who have just been blown away by being able to actually see people that that they've looked up to and how they get into the game.
I came here today to just get the knowledge and experience that the professionals that come here just to pass on what they'd advise me to do. Considering it's free, it's definitely value for money.
It is fantastic. I mean, the fact that you've got so many key personnel from within the football industry across all the levels, it doesn't mean you've got players and managers, but it's an eye-opener for these individuals who have got here. There are so many jobs going, so many opportunities, inspirational stories from people who were here this time last year. And for me, it's quite inspirational just to host it, because I would have loved to have seen something like this when I was trying to get into sports journalism.
Raise your game. You must be looking forward to it.
I am. I always do. I think the day is absolutely special. I think I've said to Rod in the past that when I was growing up or trying to think that I wanted a career in football away from the playing side of it, I was always searching for things that would help me improve who I was and give me guidance for where I wanted to be. And they just weren't out there. And I think, we've got nearly 100 mentors, 100 people that work in football, in and around football, within football clubs, within establishments like this, within sporting media, within grassroots, within refereeing. There is not an area of football that you cannot touch on that day. And the experience and knowledge that we have in the room, to add to that, is, I always say, I often say, you'll find me at some stage, don't film this, but you'll find me at some stage just standing in the middle of the room.
Just taking
and
it
all
in,
I'm
soaking
doing,
it up.
I'm soaking it up.
Yeah.
I am listening to people having conversations. I don't got to know what them conversations are, but I'm listening to, people talking about their careers or seeking advice on what they want to do. The problem at the moment is our young people think that they get a certificate and that's it. The football game owes them a job. When they go into, they open a door and they go and sit down and they sit one-on-one with a Rodney Hines, they then realise, well, I've got so much more to do. But it's better to have that. It's better to seek that guidance and that knowledge and consume that for what you need, than to go in there thinking, well, you owe me a job, I've got my certificate, where is it? So it's a brilliant day. We've got not one but two hosts this time. So we've got Reshmin Chowdhury, who many will see on BT Sport doing all the Champions League stuff, and Max Rushton. And I just see it as a powerful day, and it's a real privilege for me to be able to organise it. Obviously, with Kick It Out, with us bringing so many different people from so many different walks of life together. I get an absolute buzz off of the day, to be totally honest, and yeah, I can't wait for Monday.
For those of you who haven't been, just break down how the day kind of pans out.
So first part of the morning, we're privileged to have representatives from the Premier League, the FA, Lord Herman Ousley, our chair, Rimla Akhtar from Muslim Women's Sports Foundation, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Chris Powell was confirmed this morning, sitting on the panel.
Big shout out to
just
him.
talking about what these organisations do to kind of support the underrepresented people that are looking for jobs within the game. As we know, we look out on our football pitches, we see 25-30% of black players playing the game. Very well, I won't even put one hand out in terms of representation for Asian players. We look in our coaching circles, that diminishes. We look in our top jobs, it's actually the same. We look on our TV screens, it's the same. It's diminishing all the time. Well, not diminishing, it's never grown. So, we're going to ask, the FA and the Premier League what they're doing to help and support people that are in the audience, that are looking to get in their jobs. So what initiatives do they have? Obviously, Lord Herman Newsley will speak from a kick-it-out perspective, and hopefully Chrissy Powell will come in and speak about it from a coaching perspective as well, the way that he sees it. Then they go into one-to-one mentoring, which I call like speed dating. You know, you get the opportunity to sit down with a mentor for 15 minutes, either sell your story or just listen to their story.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah, you know, and to gain that kind of knowledge in that 15 minutes, you will then move from there into another one and move from there into another one. Side by side, there is a careers workshop, which really breaks down what you need in terms of your CV and everything else that supports you as an individual, you know, to go into an interview, etc. Media workshop. So we've got the BBC running a media workshop, and Clive Tilsley from the ITV and Robin Cohen running a commentary workshop. We've got a coaching workshop with Anthony Ferguson from the FA and Kevin Nicholson, who used to be at Cardiff City. So there's so much there, and then that flips in. So if you do a workshops in the morning, you will then flip around and do the one-to-one mentoring in the afternoon, and vice versa. And to be honest, some of the times I just want to go and sit down myself, and you know what I mean, just go and sit there and really, you know, touch all that experience. So
who can take part? Who can come? Who can attend?
Bad news is that it's sold out now.
How many people?
350 people will be in attendance.
So if you haven't got in there this year,
next year's the one.
I'll be early.
Where's this, the fourth one, fifth one?
This is the 7th.
Oh, right.
It's the 3rd one at the Emirates.
Right.
So I'm crossing enemy lines, but I haven't got a problem about that. You know, the people at Arsenal have been absolutely fantastic with us. We're supported by the Premier League this year, so they're getting more involved and seeing the impact of you know, having so many young people in one room and the outcomes we can get from there. We've had so many fabulous stories in the past in terms of people gaining job opportunities or, you know, placement opportunities, or just staying in contact with mentors for that guidance and advice away from.
I've actually seen people firsthand come to your event and are now working in the industry.
Working in the industry, exactly. So, you know, that's what it's all about. Some people say, you know, well, how many of you had, you know, sometimes this journey might be a little bit longer than what the industry wants it to be. So you might sit down with a Rodney Hines, but have to go away and reinvent yourself, and then come back and then go to Rodney.
I did.
I'm here now. There you
so
go.
have I, so have
Perfect
I.
example.
So have I.
And so the outcome might come 2 years later.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still an outcome for us. So, you know, the more that we can help and support and guide people into the right journey, listen, it's not going to be for everyone. Out of the 350, you know, some of them might not even enjoy the day. But from the feedback I get, we have much more positives than we get negatives. And I always say, if we can support and help 1-2 people,
it's a winner.
It's a winner without doubt.
Good job, and it's a little bit like the FA supporting us and what we're doing with the Sports Magazine show. Hat off to the Premier League and the Emirates, Arsenal, for supporting.
Without doubt.
You know, definitely a critical date on the calendar, the sporting and football calendar. We're going to be there filming.
Brilliant.
Filming you.
Looking around.
Film me right in the middle. That moment when I'm right in the middle.
Looking for that one.
It's on the same day as the Best of Africa.
It is,
indeed.
You couldn't work it out, could you?
But you couldn't. That's good though. I mean, it's what it's all about. There's not enough dates no more for all of the things that we can produce for the community. So
absolutely,
going to be a great day of football for all. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely, pleasure.
You've done well. We want you back.
What I want to do is get a hat trick so I can have a hat trick ball. Do you provide those?
Yeah, we can.
All signed and everything. But no, it's a real
privilege. Due to austere time, those balls are
that man of the match.
But it's been a real privilege and a pleasure.
No, thanks for coming.
Thank you, man.
Good to see you again, Michael Facey.
Well, I'm here.
Fresh back from down under. How was the cyclone, mate? Was that your first cyclone?
That was my first cyclone.
Was that your first cycone?
Yeah, it was my first cyclone.
And your last, hopefully?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? It's so nice out there.
Yeah,
I don't mind taking another one.
Well, on that note, we'll end this week's show. Make sure you're back next week. Rodney, what you saying?
30 seconds. Chris Hutton, massive congratulations from all of us. Chris Hutton, well done.
Unbelievable.
Back in the Premier League.
See you at Raise the Game, my friend.
And we'll focus on him, no doubt, over the next few weeks.
So he's on the back page of The Voice this week, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's on the back page of The Voice every week at the moment. Doing a great job.
He deserves it. Thanks for your time, guys. See you next week.